So today I am speaking with a guest, and as you know, once in a while I get to meet a very beautiful soul, and I invite her to come and speak because I know I have nice messages to share, but there's so many more women out there who have even better messages to share. And this might be something you have to hear. It's maybe the missing link you're waiting for, or the inspiration, or the spark. I mean, so often I run into someone and she's telling me exactly what I need in that moment. And I have to say, I had a little talk just before we started this recording, and I felt so at ease and so home kind of feeling that I know 100% sure that this is going to be an outstanding conversation and you're going to love it. And what I also like is, as you know, I'm in Mexico a couple of days more, and she's Mexican. So also that I really, really love. Her name is Amparo Rojas. She's living in the US right now, and we're in the same fields. We're serving women, we're inspiring women, and she's an extraordinary coach, but she's going to share herself about that. And we're really kind of colleagues in the field. So that makes me even more excited, because how beautiful is it together with someone who's doing the same work, learn from each other, grow together, and let's see what will unfold. A very warm welcome, sweet sister.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for welcoming me in the way that you did, and for providing this beautiful platform where women can just like really tap into the messages and our energies, and we can just like really talk about our own experiences and our work. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is exactly what we're here. This is the message of the female way, to inspire each other, to see each other, to acknowledge, and to learn and grow. Because I don't know if you recognize it, but it's certainly something what happens in my field is sometimes we're looping, we're looping in a space, and we can't see it anymore ourselves. And then you just listen to someone, or you read something, or we're having this amazing conversation, and you're like, oh. And then doors start to open, things start to happen. And you're like, yes, I was waiting for this.
Oh my gosh, it's so interesting and so synchronistic at the same time. Right before our call, I was dropping a message for my community through my own social media platform. And the message was, this energy with this eclipse and this airy moon and the retrograde and all of this fiery energy, there's so much beauty within that chaotic energy, right? But the most important thing that we can do in this moment through this is just really reach out to those people who can really provide such a safe space for ourselves to be heard, to be seen, to be held, and to be loved. And I had a conversation earlier with one of my dear sisters, and we were on the call for almost 2 hours. I was holding space for her and she was holding space for me. And I feel like that is happening more and more and more within women. There was such a sisterhood wounding, and how so many women are coming together and just really being there for one another.
Yeah, beautiful. For you, you said you reached out. It is a very strong, beautiful period in life. I mean, we're planting seeds for the next 20 years. It is super strong. And if you're sensible and open to feel that, it is amazing when you have the right support. But what I realized and also experienced myself and see when I'm with my women, that's not so easy for everyone to ask for support, to find the support, to have the sisterhood around them. Do you have anything to comment on that, or how can you advise women where to go and how to move, how to reach out?
I think that the biggest piece is to be the one who creates a space for it. Like you said, there's so many women that don't know how to reach out, or that haven't had the experiences where they feel safe enough to be vulnerable and to share their heart. But because we are such sensitive beings, we can pick up so easily when a friend is hurting, or when a sister is wanting to share something, but she's holding back. We feel it. It's an energy that is felt because we live through it every single day and we experience it. And it can truly be as simple as just hugging them without even needing to say anything. But them sensing that safe space gives them the space to, whether if they want to open up and share something or not, maybe their own sharing isn't just hugging you back. Right? So I feel like first we need to be the ones who create those spaces. And then what I always, have to remind myself of, and even the women that I work with, think about that person who really allows yourself to be held and to be seen, right? And just reach out to them. Hey, can we go grab a coffee? Can we go grab dinner? And there's just this beautiful energetic exchange that begins to happen at its own pace and at its own timing. But I say is just maybe provide it for yourself first. And if that's not enough, then reach out to a friend.
Yeah. Beautiful and very spot on. And this is really what I want to emphasize as well, really provide that space for yourself, and then reach out and go out and find and give also that what you're longing for yourself. Because I just came back from 2 days with my sisters here. And of course, Tulum, there are a lot of like-minded people. There are a lot of travelers. So we reach out, we find each other, and we gathered in a beautiful villa, Siancan, like 30 minutes from here, right on the beach. And we celebrated a new moon, and we came together, and we were constantly cuddling. And there were all mummies. With the thing that really touched me deeply is there were a lot of mummies, and they all had babies of around 2 years old. One moment we were sitting in a circle, like sisterhood, sharing, and in a very ritual way. And I was looking around, and all the mummies had their baby on their breast, were breastfeeding in the same moment, open, under the sky, under the moon. And I was like, wow, this is support. This is community. This is what the world needs.
Absolutely. And what a gift for you to have experienced that. Oh my gosh, I still am getting chills as you were saying that. And
I feel speechless. And I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3. I think, and I'm not kidding, there were 8 women our age, little kiddos, 2, 1, 2. It was just a new world, a new earth.
Oh my gosh. And it's such, especially Tulum where you're at, I mean, to have that expansive, enhanced energy within that community, right? And, I'm on the other side where you can see that it's not, it's a little bit harder to find or to be seen, but you can create that anywhere. You can create that anywhere that you go. Right now, the apartment complex which we're staying in, it's a beautiful space, beautiful building, and everyone is not from here. They're all travelers making this their home. And I had this vision that I needed to start leading meditation and sound baths from a space of just pure service once a month, and just bring people together. And it's so wild how everyone wants that so deeply. They just want to be in a circle of community. But for some, it's maybe a little bit harder to let it be known. But once they're in there, they just like you can see the blossoming happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's perfect, because when I saw you just now on the screen, I asked you, where are you? Because it looks so beautiful. And then you said that these are public spaces where you live. So this is amazing. And it's exactly that, you know, you start to give. You start to give out of a desire of yourself as well. And that's okay, yeah. And then you start to give your gift, basically meditation, sound healing. People are gathering. You can feel that everyone needs it. You're having a good time. And then from there, you see how it unfolds. And this is so good that you bring this up, because you can sit and wait, you know, and wait till you get the invitation or something is happening. And even, I mean, if you know about human design, as a projector, you need to wait for the invitation, but that's sometimes misunderstood. It doesn't mean that you're in your bed and things just come through the window. You still take inspired action, but you go out there and you create that what you long for, and you attract the right people.
Absolutely. You just attract them. And I 100% agree with that. You know, I do love human design. Now that we're talking about the topic, I love human design. You mentioned you're a projector.
You're a manifester.
Yeah. And for a very long time, I would wait for things to just happen. And then I was like, you know what? If I can't find it, but I want it, I'm going to go and create it. And it's insane how many people are so parallel to your journey, but you needed to go and let yourself be seen.
That's it. That's exactly it. And that's actually, if you don't know what human design is and you're like, where are the girls speaking about? I have no idea. It doesn't matter. But the essence of what Amparo is sharing here is so spot on. Show yourself.
Yes.
Whether you want a community, whether you want a man or a woman, a partner, or you want your business to grow, for all the aspects, all the things that you desire, you need to be visible. And it doesn't mean that you do it that you have to do it in a way that you don't feel comfortable with or you don't like. Find a way that is okay for you now. A little bit outside of your comfort zone, I would definitely recommend. So as when you introduce yourself, you said you're an feminine embodiment coach. How do you go out there and show yourself?
There's so many practices. That's such an amazing, amazing question. Thank you. There's so many practices, but one of the biggest practices that I've been moving through this year is introducing myself. You know, whether I'm at a table sitting, waiting for a friend to, you know, join me, and then there's someone just there, I turn around and I introduce myself. Hi, my name is Amparo. You know, I'm just waiting here for a friend, but while I wait, would you love to have a chat? And the things that just have been opening up by introducing myself, I've met soul sisters like with the same name just through introduction. Yeah, it's crazy. There's this story of this woman that I met here in DC, and that was actually the prime example. She was sitting there, I was waiting for a friend, I was next to her, and I just turned around and I introduced myself, and she was like, Amparo? I was like, yeah. She's like, my middle name is Amparo. And I was like, oh my God, like, so I've been really just practicing the introducing and just getting myself out there, like knocking on doors, you know, going back to the basics of sharing your work and selling your product and the services that you have to start knocking on doors. It is a little scary and it is uncomfortable, but the worst thing that they can say no, and the no then becomes less of a charge. Then you don't feel as scared. They're like, okay, it's nothing against me and it's nothing about my work. It's just no.
Totally. And their no has something to do with this, the space they're in themselves, because they don't know you. So it can never be related to you. So that's very easy. And it's very beautiful to practice with the node. So that's a really good one. And also what I like about what you're sharing, you get the opportunity to practice your message.
Absolutely. Yes.
I mean, every time you're introducing yourself, you can say whatever you want because the person has no idea. I love that. That's similar to traveling. I mean, everyone I meet here, they don't know me. They don't know my story, my background, my whatever. So yesterday, to speak about the same example again, I was at this birthday celebration with 30 people and I knew only 2. So every time someone asks me like, hey, how are you? What's up? What brought you to Tulum? I go just share whatever I want to share. And it's so beautiful. So, and you give me a good example, and everyone who's listening, you can do that everywhere. When you're at the bus station, when you're waiting in some waiting room, wherever you are. I mean, how many hours we wait in our lives? Quite some.
Yeah. And, big piece of the introducing yourself, on my journey, because I am a feminine embodiment coach and I support, in empowerment and in self-love is a big, big piece. There's this welcoming that gets to happen every single time you introduce yourself. Like you said, the message resonates more within your body, but a big piece of it, and it's a big practice, welcoming all of you in that moment and saying, in this moment, who I am here now is just so divinely perfect, with all the shame and all the guilt and all the embarrassment and all the self-trust and all the self-love. It's like all of these pieces that make you get to be welcomed in that moment by you and not by anyone else. And that's such a profound practice, because, we always are striving to become better beings. There's this path of spiritual development and personal work that we embark on. And I can already feel this about you and about myself and about all the women who follow you. They're relentless when it comes to this work. And there's always this more and more and more, and let me heal more, and let me practice more, and let me embody more. And in that moment, through that practice, you just welcome all that you are in that moment. It is so profound.
I have a question for you, but first I want to react. Because it's something what I recognize, this more and more, and we need to be more, and we need to learn more, and then, and especially, I think, especially in the US and in Europe, because here in Mexico, things are, someone told me the other day, she's a German sister. Well, Germans are Germans. And she said something very interesting. And she's like, you know what I really like about Mexico? Everything is so imperfect. Like things are never working. I mean, a couple of times a week we don't have water, we don't have electricity. Everything is like in disorder. That we are happy when things are just working. We don't have that aim to be better and higher. And she said, were her words, in Europe, we put the barriers so high. And if we reach that, we want to become a little bit more higher. And that resonated so much. And this is the freedom vibe and the peace vibe, what I experience in this country. So I really wish, and I think you can, when you say I'm an empowerment coach and self-love, and you are good enough where you are right now. And from there we move.
Yeah.
You're just good. And everything is already with you. So one of the things, it's also the slogan of the female way, you become more of you. And that means you're not changing. You're not becoming someone else. You become more of you. You're peeling off the layers of bullshit and conditioning and the things you need to become. And you're just going back to the essence.
So beautiful.
So, speaking about introduction, there are a lot of embodiment coaches out there. And that's amazing because the world needs us. Yeah, I mean, there's place for many, many more. But what makes you, what is your gift? If women are listening and they're like, how do I know if she's the right one for me? What would you say? So introduce yourself.
So I'm Amparo Rojas, and the label is a female empowerment embodiment coach. But truly what I do is I support women through the spiritual journey of expansion and growth. You know, it's so easy to sell through business and money, yet the tangible aspects of ourselves that only we can reflect on, how far we go or how far we get, is us, right? We are the only ones who get to see those parts. We can go out into the world and express those parts through the tangible things, you know, whether it's growing a business, whether it's building our harmonious relationship with the partner, whether it's healing the relationship with the mother, and now they can co-create together in a harmonious way. Those are all tangible reflections of all the inner work that you do. So what I truly support women is through that spiritual journey of going inward and truly getting to know herself as a whole human being who is just here to journey as far as she possibly can on her own personal experience. So that's what I do. It's a lot of spiritual journeying. The things that we want to achieve in our life, whether it's building the business, expanding it, whether it's wealth, money, whatever it is, it requires a certain embodiment and it requires a certain woman we get to become and we choose to become. But my work is supporting you along the way of that inward journey. So really, really leaning into that feminine essence, looking at it, loving it, leaning into the masculine essence, leaning into that and loving it, and then bringing those two energies in harmony so she can really propel forward and create and achieve the things that she's meant to achieve. So whether women come to me because they're looking to expand their business, or whether she's coming to me because she really wants to expand her own wealth, her level of consciousness, my work is going into the depths of the soul and allowing her to like really see that and feel that.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. So basically, if I got it right, it's like expansion on all levels, and you will be the equal partner supporting and guiding her along her way, whether it is business, money, love, relationship. And most of the times they're all related.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, they come to you because they want to grow their business, and at the same time, you know, you want to grow your relationship, you have the longing to find your soul partner. It's all related. And also the other way around, if one thing is working and not working, if your business is not flowing, most of the times you're either single or you're in a very shitty relationship. No? Yeah.
True. True.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your dreams and longings for this life?
My dreams and my longings. I want to, the core of it all, the core of why I do everything that I do is because I want to evolve spiritually as much as I possibly can in this lifetime. I want to get to know myself as much as I possibly can. And through that, I want to really strengthen my relationship with spirit and walk hand in hand with the benevolent light that we all carry within and share it as much as possible. That's on a spiritual level. In the 3D, this human existence, I want to be able to be the matriarch in my home that provides stability, safety, love, wealth for not only myself and my partner, but most importantly, my children and my grandchildren. I really, really want to cut as many programs as I possibly can, so that way my children and my grandchildren can be in the safe space.
Mhm.
My childhood was very chaotic, very traumatic. And my work is to not only provide that for myself, but provide that for those that are going to come after me. That's my biggest longing.
Wow. Wow. It's all happening.
Yeah.
It's all happening. Amazing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't know why, but I want to ask you when we had this introduction, little chat before we started, you mentioned it and I didn't react on it, but now I feel like I want, is how are you maneuvering? How are you moving around the masculine and the feminine energy around in yourself?
Mm.
So, you can speak about it like Melanie does as the badass and the boss and the goddess, but let's keep it just to masculine and the feminine energy. And we know we have them all within us, and one is maybe dominating in regards to the other one, and like men, they also have both energies.
Mm-hmm.
But in your life, in your present being, can you share a little bit about how you move with the masculine and the feminine energy?
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is such a recent topic that I can really go jam out on, because last year was all about healing from the masculine. Masculine partners and my own resistance to them and to the energy. So I call my masculine energy my inner king. And then my female or my feminine essence is, there's no name for her yet, but I think it's Amparo. Like, that's what I'm going to call it. Amparo is the female radiant essence. And then my masculine essence is my inner king. I call it inner king because for me, God, I feel it as a masculine presence in my life. That's just my own personal journey. And I feel like God for me is my father, who I can, bow down to and just allow it to lead me. So that's why I associate masculine energy with male. And then my female energy is all about my heart and just my desires and my pleasure and my sensuality. So what I've been creating this year through those two energies is really going into this side of my masculine energy, which is structure, plan, and very long-term vision of what I'm here to create, and not feeling any resistance towards it. Because before, I was so wounded around the masculine energy that I was just like, I'm going to live day to day and be in the flow and just create as I go. And that's so beautiful. It truly is beautiful. But the things that I believe that I'm here to achieve require planning, and they require scoping out, and they require, structure, and they require routines and habits. So I've been really easing myself into that masculine energy of like discipline and commitment and structure and action. And I have noticed that it's what gets me the furthest when I really activate those masculine energies. And then that feminine energy is just me allowing myself through the structure and the planning and the action taking to be like seen in my full radiance, which is my sensuality, and to allow my vision to be seen and my gifts to be heard and to be witnessed. So that's how I've been playing around with those two energies.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I just needed to ask you this because now I know why, because it's been a very major part of your life. And you've been on the discovery and healing parts in your own life. And I truly believe that we can be the best coaches. Of course, we learn stuff, but when it's out of own experience, we truly bring a message across. I mean, we lived it our own. We've been through it. We sit on it. We reflected on it, and we healed.
Yeah,
And like that, we can bring the message across, which is amazing. So yeah, I think this was good to bring up, because I believe all women and every female being who feels like one or chooses to be one has a little, I'm just thinking how to put it, because let me put it in that way. Every single female being out there, it would be great if you have a chance to look at your inner man, inner king, and inner woman, just to be aware of what is going on there. And like you say, you know, you can, what I see a lot with women around me, indeed, especially in communities and in spiritual places, like, I'm super feminine and indeed in the moment, in the flow, and I see what happens, and I don't want too much of blah, 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 blah. It is beautiful to have an integrated king, integrated man, because the man, the masculine energy, gives you the boundaries, and the structure and the planning gives you the safety.
Yeah.
For the feminine to move. Mm. And to be in the flow and to be in the moment. But because you put the standards and the boundaries and the clarity, you can. And I don't know if you agree with me, but I believe that in order to be successful, and let me rephrase, successful in my world is that you're doing what you love. Mm. You wake up happy, you go to bed happy, and your whole day is filled with the things you just love. I believe that this is the only way, and it's a way for everyone out there. And it doesn't mean that you can't work in a supermarket or have a 9-to-5 job, because the women who are there and doing their work, they just love it. When I was in a 9-to-5 job, well, it was a 7 till 2 o'clock in the morning job, but I loved it. I really loved it. But being successful can only happen when you have a certain balance. And balance doesn't mean that it's an equal 50-50%, but balance means, what is the balance for you?
Yes.
Does it make sense?
It makes 100% sense. And I love how you ended right there. The balance is what makes perfect sense for you, because for a very long time, I tried so hard to be in my feminine all the time. And I felt like I was not myself, and I kept questioning, like, there's all these beautiful feminine embodiment coaches, but I don't move like they move. I move more rigid and I stomp on the ground and I'm more warrior. And that doesn't make me any less feminine, but I know that if I can harmoniously dance with those two energies, I'm still a feminine radiant being, but for me, it's more masculine energy driven, but I still can be very sensual and very in flow and play and laughter and giggly. But I love how you worded it there of like, it's whatever it is for you.
Wow, this was so important to have you speak these words, that your way is maybe more in a warrior style, but it can be a very sexy warrior. And it doesn't mean that it's not feminine, because I know now your message is so clear that if there are women out there who are like, this is what I need. Because of the last words, they were so crystal clear what makes you the perfect feminine embodiment coach, because there are many out there, but you said something very important. You need to resonate with them. So you need to know their story. You need to feel them. You need to know what they're about. And then you can feel like she's the one. And you did that so perfectly just in the last minutes. I could really feel like, because I resonate a lot with you, because I have the same. I used to be a very strong businesswoman, and then I heard a lot in my life that I'm so masculine and so strong and so powerful and so blah, 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 which is an amazing quality. But then I moved completely to embody my feminine more. And I became this butterfly feminine type. But things were not really working out. Well, they were working out really good, but it was a bit messy and unstructured, and I got lost, and everything took a lot of efforts and time, and this flow became exhausting.
Yeah.
And then I needed to go back to bring the masculine and the feminine in my kind of balance. So I really resonate with you. If I would need someone, I would go to you, because I can feel you. And I'm like, this woman knows what she's talking about.
Thank you. Beautiful reflection.
Yeah.
I believe that, as deeply as we can go in within our feminine energy, there has to be a container that can sustain that and that can hold
That's it.
that.
Yeah.
And it is our inner masculine that can support that. It's like the vision that I'm getting is when, we're going through a death process, and we're sitting on the floor and just like in baby style and just crying our heart out. What I'm getting is like the inner masculine is that hard bottom floor that sustains us. And I tried it the way that you tried it. I was very much in the feminine. It was so messy for me. And I lost sight completely of my long-term vision. And I was so confused. And for many women, it works that way. But then for me, it has worked of like, let me feel as sensual and playful as I can be, but then let me have a safe container to express those aspects within me.
Yeah. And I believe that this so-called balance, this container where both energies are moving in the perfect form, is constantly evolving, huh? I mean, like life is evolving, where you are in life, which part of the world you're living in. I mean, this all has their influence. But can you share, and maybe this is the last question, we're a bit moving towards the end, but can you share for everyone who's listening, like, where can they start? How can they have more insight of where they are, and how can you awaken these energies and bring them in your perfect balance?
So good. So I always say that we can initiate ourselves. Whether I feel like there's two forms of initiation, either, life initiates us, or we initiate the process. And how I've always done it is, I remember back then I said, I want to be more feminine. I want to be more in my heart. I want to know how I can truly serve women and how to get, my gifts out there and like support women in that way. And when I initiated back then was going through that long journey of feeling my feminine heart. And I did the same exact thing when I started healing the masculine energy, which, in a form of prayer, through a ceremony in prayer, I said, through my own free will, I initiate the process of healing the masculine wounding. So anyone who's hearing us out right now, they can initiate this for themselves, I strongly suggest, sitting in a small ceremony, whether it's lighting a candle, whether it's writing it on a piece of paper. It can be something just very intimate, with herself or with a friend. I strongly suggest just with myself first, and just really ask, like, take me through this initiation of, healing that wounding, and to allow myself to experience that energy, that whole energy. Through that ceremony and with that prayer, everything that will unfold forward is kind of like an invisible red carpet. Experiences, people will come into the experience. And if we're truly aware, if this woman is truly aware in that moment, she will look up and say, whoa, like, God sent me his greatest warrior in this moment so I could experience this and then embark on that healing. So I always suggest a ceremony, the strong intention and just a lot of awareness. And if not, do the same thing that I did, which is like go on YouTube videos or books around healing within that certain energy, follow, people on a social media platform. I always suggest just 1 or 2 people. Too many consciousness can be too much, overwhelming, very confusing. So just one woman or man that you resonate with that can speak highly on that topic, and then just begin to pull the thread from there.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. What a way to end. And what a beautiful suggestion you gave. And I always like when there's something like this, like practical, where whomever is listening, they can start right away, they get inspired. And this is why we do this work. This is the essence of the female way, of the platform, of the podcast, of the video, of everything. So thank you for sharing this gift, and thank you for sharing your time. And if you're at home now, you're like, or in the car or walking outside or whatever you're doing, you're like, I am excited. I want to know this woman, and maybe you are a match and you want to work with her, or you just want to meet her. Go to the female way and go to the section leaders, because she's going to be one of our leaders. Find her there, and there will be a special offer for you waiting. And you're so welcome. I really want to thank you. You are a star. You're magical, and the world needs you. So it's been an honor to have you in our space. And I feel that this is the beginning of something beautiful.
Oh, Humita, I so welcome that. Thank you so much. So special. And there's such a beautiful connection here. And I'm so thankful for all of this beautiful work that you provide.
Yay! Thank you.